What is up, ladies and gents? Welcome back to Chainsaw Man. We are reacting to a single chapter today. I was just feeling like I want to do a single chapter reaction today because I just want to. So here we are. And I feel like the last time we venture into Chainsaw Man, we left on a pretty unique cliffhanger, to say the least. Like, I was really wanting to know what happened, what's gonna happen next. So here we are. So I'm sure this chapter will probably end on another cliffhanger that will immediately make me want to read more. But you know what? Hang on a minute. Hang on just a minute. When is the next chapter coming out? Because sometimes Chainsaw Man will go for 2 weeks, sometimes it'll be 1 week. Hang on. Oh, next chapter will be out next week on August 15th. Okay. Excellent. We shall see if I'll do another single chapter reaction next week, or if I want to delay that and bundle it with the next chapter reactions, but we shall see. Hello everybody who just joined the stream. Trying to focus between YouTube chat and Twitch chat, which, by the way, if you're watching on YouTube, then as usual, I mean, at this point it's kind of the norm. If you want to see the pages on the screen, then you can hop on over to Twitch. But if you are watching the VOD, then the on-screen pages version will be available in the description below whenever I finish editing that version out. So if you're watching this live, then I would strongly recommend you guys to hop on over on Twitch so that I can, actually show the pages. But if you are stubborn and you just want to stay on YouTube and you don't want to leave YouTube because you love YouTube, then go right ahead. I mean, you can still sync up the pages on your own if you are watching on YouTube. Fine by me. Like, everybody has their own preferences and stuff. But yeah, welcome everybody, welcome back to the stream. Seeing a lot of familiar faces here, of course. Interestingly, the YouTube video, if I am checking this correctly, is only streaming this at 720p and not 1080p, which is quite interesting. I was just experimenting on resolutions, especially on OBS. So usually I stream usually on 1080p, but it's not 920 by 1080p. It's usually 2160 by 1080p, so because I'm streaming at an aspect ratio of 2:1, not 16:9. Apparently YouTube will either go for 1080p or 720p in this regard, because it is not willing to convert the 960p stream into a 1080p video, even though it is technically 1920 by 960p, but YouTube just automatically turns it down into 720p, which is not the case on Twitch. Twitch is actually streaming this on 960p, so fine by me. The only reason why I'm downscaling the resolution is just because I was just testing it out. Plus, I am going to be streaming more on Twitch, and I am going to be streaming more video games on Twitch, and usually that take a lot of power from the computer, or I guess the laptop here, and I kind of want to lower the resolution down a bit just so I can save maybe a few megabytes of RAM and such, but it is what it is. Anyways, immediately, let's just cut straight into the reaction, because I'm pretty sure that is where a lot of people, and why a lot of people are tuning in on the stream. But I will tell you guys right now, if you are still watching the stream, I will probably stream more after this, probably on Twitch. I'll probably just be streaming editing reactions and such, because there's a lot that I need to cover, but that's pretty much it. So let us just jump straight into the reaction with chapter 138. Let me move the screen to... There we go. And let's move to this on Twitch. All right. Alright. Chainsaw Man Chapter 138. Interesting title that we are having today. Wait a minute. I nearly forgot to record the VOD. Ooh. Alright, Chainsaw Man Chapter 138. Interesting title, like I mentioned before, Swordman. We know of one individual that is kind of a swordman. We call him the Katana Man, but kind of a sword, I guess. But yeah, kicking off where we left off, Denji is facing off against this girl whose name I am forgetting. I honestly, I forgot if they actually mentioned her name or not in the previous chapter reactions. It's been quite a while. But yeah, Denji smiling for all of the wrong reasons, but hey, at least he is smiling. But it is kind of depressing in a way that he's smiling because he's bludgeoning people. Alright. Action. Guy almost puts, Guy pulls out his gun, trying to aim at Denji. Huh. Okay, girl throws her bat at the guy. And Denji confused. Huh? Jeez, it's only a model gun. Don't scare me like that. Makes sense though. Guys attacking with baseball bats wouldn't have a gun, would they? Interesting though, only a model gun. I wonder if that has anything to do with the fact that they, I wonder if that has anything to do with the gun devil being disposed in the previous part, and I guess the world and their stance on guns and whatnot changed. Just curious in that regard. But then again, it is Japan. It's not like Japan allows actual guns. Like airsoft guns are usually the case. Huh? Aren't you my enemy? Huh? Well, why would I be your enemy? You were freaking singing while I fought those dudes. Her name is Fumiko Mifune. Okay, there we go. We got the name. Where did you came? Wait a minute. You were not in these previous shots. How? Where? Huh? Her name is Fumiko Mifune. She's your junior. Why are you here? I'm with Public Safety Devil Extermination Special Division 7. Okay. Public safety getting desperate, basically recruiting kids at this point, but then again, most of their people got destroyed and murdered in the previous part, so I guess that explains the child labor. I'm in charge of guarding you and other stuff during your student life, Denji-senpai, and that's why I'm in high school at age... Hang on, wait a minute. Age 22. Fujimoto. I see Fujimoto here is looking out for his fan base, making sure that they are not going to prison. She's 1 year younger than me, so hey. That's why I'm in high school at age 22. Man, everybody's older than Denji in this show, in this manga. If you're my bodyguard, how come you kept singing when I got attacked? Why is that? Oh, 'cause I don't want my songs getting interrupted. Hey, I know that feeling. If I'm watching a movie, if I'm watching a show, I do not want to get interrupted as well. Like, everybody has their different passions, If I'm watching a movie, turn off my phone. If somebody's knocking on my door, if it's an emergency, I say, nope, give me another hour because the movie's not finished yet. I want to stay in the moment. I want to still be immersed in the story. I don't want to get cut and be reminded of the real world, so I get it. Fumiko Mifune, huh? Interesting. Because I don't want my songs getting interrupted. Tenji, of course, being bamboozled. What is wrong with you guys? Anyway, you are Chainsaw Man. Getting attacked by someone who knows your identity comes with the territory. That's why I assign a bodyguard to you. Bodyguard. What age is Denji? I mean, still in his teens, that's for sure. I mean, if I remember correctly, Denji was like 16 or something during the first part, and since this is like a year after, then 17? At the oldest 18, that's for sure, but either way, he is still in high school. And usually you would graduate at the age of like 18 when you're in high school, and since Denji isn't really at I guess 12th grade, then I would probably wager between 16 or 17. No possessions we can use to identify them. I've thought as much. So, Chainsaw Man strong even when he doesn't transform, huh? I was impressed. You were super cool, you know. Denji's expression here, I love it. You're only coming on to me as part of your job, right? Talk about a letdown. I really am into you though, senpai. You are? Sus. You are. Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? We've seen... Come on now. Come on, guys, come on now. We've seen this happen before. Again, and again, and again, and again, and again. Every girl. Every single girl. Except for maybe Asa, but that's a unique case because Asa is fused with Yoru, so there's like half and half, but like every single girl who says that they're into Denji, they're not really into Denji. You know, they're into Denji for different reasons. You know, they have their own motives. They have their own reasons behind that. You know, it's not really for love. It's, well, technically it is love, but for a different, you know, it's for something else. You know what I mean? I mean, even Asa is currently into Chainsaw Man. Well, I guess, but you know, she's a tsundere. You know, like she's not going to admit it. You know what I mean? And that's like the difference between Asa and everybody else. Everybody just straight up admit. Still, it's maddening to think that Chainsaw Man also experienced this rush. Fame doesn't feel so great to me. In fact, it creeps me out. Why? Why? Because it's an invasion of my privacy or something. Ay. Chainsaw Man church membership. Okay, where do I sign up? Join the Chainsaw Man church. Support Chainsaw Man and Asa as a Chainsaw Man church member. Using her as a poster girl, huh? So kind of like a dynamic duo, right? Kind of like pushing the agenda or such. Sorry if the stream died, guys, just a bit, but luckily I did, you know, I am recording the stream, so if a couple of sections of the stream is, you know, cut off or gone, don't worry, you know, like the uncut version will have everything, you know, fine. ticks you off. Does ooh. Hang on. Who is this? 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 New character? Swordman? Swordman? Ticks you off, doesn't it? How they're putting Chainsaw Man side by side with some fresh-faced nobody. Basically the fandom when part 2 started. Who is this girl? Who is this chick? Where's Chainsaw Man, dude? Where is he? I don't want to read this story because it's a girl who's taking over the lead. I don't like this as a character. Who is she, dude? When are we gonna get Chainsaw Man? I'm sure when Denji comes back, he'll return to the face of the manga and he'll gonna take over as the main character once again. Right? Ticks you off, doesn't it, how they're putting Chainsaw Man side by side with some fresh-faced nobody. And who are you? Who just so happens to be put side by side to Chainsaw Man. Asamitaka. Chainsaw Man church poster girl / high school student. They say scars appear on her face when she fights devils, okay? Actual full-on confirmation that the scars do appear on her physical form. A pretty memorable character, isn't she? Why do strangers keep talking to me lately? They don't know me? It's cool. I don't remember. Holy. It's cool. I don't remember you either. You ought to know me though. Chainsaw Man, holy shit, is it actually Katana Man? As in, not the actual Katana Man, but more like the devil that is imbued within Katana Man. The sword devil. Okay, for real, who are you? If they called you Chainsaw Man, that'd make me... Sword Man. Let's go with that. And she's like, oh, who the fuck is this fucking loser, dude? Who the fuck is this loser, dude? Huh, interesting. So not only did we got introduced to, of course, Mifune, right? We got, you know, her name, even though we were introduced to her like 2 chapters ago, but I mean like officially introduced to her, right? In this chapter by name. We're also getting broke. Go back to chapter 86 and 87. All right, give me a minute. I'll stop the recording for now, for the uncut version at least. And again, guys, it's been more than a year, okay? It's been more than a year. It's been more than a year since part 2 was released, and it's well over 2 years since, well, 2 or 3 years since I last read Chainsaw Man. I've only read it like maybe once, so it's not like I have the best memories in regards to something that I've last read like 2-3 years ago. It has been ages, by the way. It has been ages. Chapter 86 and 87. Alright, hang on. Chainsaw Man. 86 and 87. Alright, 86 is where Chainsaw Man was having a date with Kobani. Okay, he is right there at the top, right at chapter 86. We gotta impress Miss Makima a little on our first operation. Yeah. Right. As if I would remember all of these faces that... Yeah, okay. And then 87... Yeah, we only saw him for like a fair bit. I say fair as in a couple, like a couple of pages, like actually a couple of pages, and then that's pretty much it. It's not like he has like Katana Man status where we actually saw him, you know, like go 1-to-1, toe-to-toe with Chainsaw Man, and we had like a couple of chapters with him or anything, you know what I mean? Alright, cool. So this is confirmation that the hybrids are alive, right? That has been a question for like a long time, ever since part 2 started, right? Like, what happened to the hybrids? We've never had full-on confirmation of their deaths because they're hybrids. They're just like Denji. They cannot die, right? We know that. So what happened to them? But then again, we are showcasing one hybrid that was very much underutilized or underused within the first part of Chainsaw Man, so the chances of the actual hybrids that we do know being alive is still slim, you know, like people like Reze, for example, but... Interesting. Interesting. And memory as well, that is correct. Memory as well. But even so, Swordman remembers Denji, right? So there is that. Always thought it was rather underwhelming to have 4 new hybrids appear out of nowhere just to be killed immediately. Glad to see Fujimoto is expanding on that. Yeah, I agree. I mean, the use of like the introduction of like new hybrids in that specific part of Chainsaw Man, I always, gonna be honest, when I read that, I was like, oh yeah, here's like the hybrids that we remember, and then here's a couple of other hybrids that will probably be just meat fodder for Denji, you know, just to fill in the screen so there's like more people that Denji can fight, you know, like disposable characters to say the least. But hey, one of them is getting their shine, you know, hopefully, unless he gets immediately killed in the next chapter in like usual Fujimoto fashion. So who knows? Who knows? There is hope. Rezi, God, guys, don't give me the copium that Rezi is gonna be back. Just don't, please, no. Fuck, dude, we got Swordman, and we haven't got any inkling of power. Swordman got an appearance before the Blood Devil? Fujimoto, where is she? Where is she? Where is Power? Is she safe? Is she alright? Where is she? We got this dude before her. She's gonna be endgame, that's for sure. Like Power is definitely gonna be endgame at this point if we are saving her for last, right? Because it is a really, really, it's a powerful moment, right? At the very end of her character, right? In part 1, right? It's a blood pact, basically, right? It's a promise. It is a contract with her, right? So we know it's gonna happen. So since we do know that it is going to happen eventually, Fujimoto also knows obviously that it is gonna happen, and he has to do it eventually. So he can wait it out for like another part or so. Like we can wait for that, because we know that is about to happen. That is an inevitability, right? We know that is about to happen. It's just a matter of when. So we have that assured. Fujimoto is just playing the long game. But all of this, all of these other things, these are the unpredictabilities of Chainsaw Man. And the more unpredictable it gets, the more like, hey, we're just gonna introduce this character, and then we're just gonna introduce this new character, and then, oh, by the way, new character, by the way, new character, by the way. It makes the path moving forward a lot harder to predict. And I think that's the fun of it, right? Sometimes it is fun to predict stories, as in the story is telling you, hey, it's going to this direction, and the story wants you to know that it is going in this direction. It's not going to tell you exactly like how to get to that direction, but it is a clear direction where they're going, right? So you can have expectations. But with Chainsaw Man, it's like every chapter is going to be a mystery, and every chapter is going to be like, okay, what's going to happen next? Where are we going to go from here? We thought, at least I thought, we were going to someplace else by the end of the previous chapter, but clearly what I thought is not where we are going, because where we ended up in this chapter is not what I expected at all. I don't think anybody was expecting Swordman to appear by the end of this chapter. A character that got like maybe 5 panels in part 1 and nobody remembers him. I'm sure a lot of people don't really remember him, and only like a few people remember him, and they go onto, I guess, Reddit and go, hey guys, this character is that character from like a few, like in part 1, you guys remember him? You guys remember them? And everybody's like, oh yo, in no way, and all that stuff. I can pretty much imagine like the community reaction when this chapter came out like yesterday. Yeah. People are already shipping him with Denji, but no, please, no. I mean, I don't mind shipping Denji with other characters, you do you, it's your fetish or whatever, it's like, hey, you think it's romantic that Denji is having fun with Aki or anyone, I guess that's fine. We just met this character. We just met this character, dude. We have no idea about his personality. We're just making shit up. We're just making his personality, I guess. But yeah. Yep, yes, but he's hot. Well, okay, fair enough. Fair enough. The reaction is valid since it means more expansion on the hybrid plot thread, which were underutilized. I agree. I definitely agree. This is also great, as this is basically a reintroduction to many of the plot threads that were, again, missing or left unfinished from part 1, because there's a lot of plot threads in part 1 that was left unfinished and are still hanging. And one of them is the plot surrounding the hybrids and their fate, because we have no idea what happened to them when Makima died, right at the end of part 1. But this is kind of painting us, I guess, a scene for what's to happen in the future, right? We can kind of predict that, you know, again, like the copium that maybe Reze can come back, you know, and all that stuff. Like, that is now a possibility. Before this, that was like a 10% possibility. Like, I was already accepting the fact that the hybrids are probably dead and then we're never gonna see them again in the future. But if Fujimoto is bringing one of them back, then that leaves room for like the rest of the hybrids to be back again, because like, why only bring one when the rest of them also suffered through the same fate as this guy, right? That will be interesting. That will be interesting moving forward. It is also slightly worrying. I have full confidence in Fujimoto, by the way, but it is slightly worrying that we are introducing a lot of new plot threads when there's a pretty big plot thread that is like currently, you know, undergoing within part 2 itself when it comes to like Nostradamus and the end of the world and the apocalypse and whatnot. You know what I mean? I felt like, at least in part 2, again, this isn't a criticism, but it's more of a worry that I have moving forward. But then again, like I said, I kind of trust Fujimoto in this regard. I mean, man, the man has created 2 amazing one-shots. Part 1 was pretty solid. Fire Punch was incredible. I have faith, you know, but at the wrong hands, this is kind of a mess. At the wrong hands, like I said, this can be a mess, because I feel like there was a lot of cohesion when we were only focusing on Asa Mitaka as a character, because it was pretty clear where we are gonna go with that character, right? This is a character who is pretty much lost in her own personality, in her own character, and we are trying to study her. We are trying to figure out who she is, what is her place within the world, and her dealing with quote-unquote double personalities with her and Yoru living in the same body, and trying to realize that their inevitable fate can either be codependence or self-destruction. But now that we are reintroducing Denji, ever since Denji was reintroduced into the story and became a main character again, and now we are getting 2 subplots, right? One with Mitaka and one with Denji, even though they are both kind of interconnected with one another. But it's like Denji is dealing with his own shit, Mitaka is also dealing with her own shit, and then there's also the Fami subplot that is right dab in the middle, because she is kind of meddling with both of them at the same time. So it is kind of branching off into these multiple different subplots that, if done wrong, it can lead to a narrative arc that is very messy in the middle. It can all make sense as it finishes off some of these subplots and then we reach the climax and the finale. But yeah, that is the one worry that I have. But knowing Fujimoto, I'm sure he's gonna find a way to fix this all together and make it whole. Because right now it does feel like Fujimoto is setting up something big. Like something really big. Big enough to the point where he has to introduce a lot of new characters as well. Asa is being groomed for being the final antagonist. I'm not. It was a theory that I had at the start of this part of the manga. When part 2 started and then we are introduced to Asa and Asa became the host for the War Devil, and obviously we know at that time that the War Devil is going to go face to face with Chainsaw Man, with Denji, right? It is the inevitable, well, she is technically the villain, she is technically the antagonist against Denji, who is the titular character, he has main protagonist plot armor, right? And if they do go head on face to face, then the two possible outcomes is either she dies or she lives. Like that's pretty much it, right? But I am not sure if she were to end up being the final antagonist, at least the final antagonist of this whole series. For this part, probably, right? Because I feel like Death being the final antagonist of the series makes a lot more sense given where the story is going, where the story is like progressing narratively speaking. But Asa being a temporary what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say temporary villain. Obstacle, a temporary obstacle for Denji within this part. I think that is very much possible. But even so, I don't think Denji is going to solve Asa's problem. Asa is going to solve her own problems, because her own problems is Yoru's problems as well. And those two are together, right? And that is like the point. That is like the point of almost every character story ever. It's not that other people help them at the end. No, it is that they help themselves. Denji didn't save... Kishibe or Kobeni or even Pochita didn't really save Denji at the end of part 1. No, Denji saved himself. He realizes what he has to do. He realizes how to defeat Makima, and that is how he saved himself, right? And I feel like Asa will be the same. If Asa is in ever any danger, whether it is herself being the danger or being faced by Yoru or being faced by Denji or being faced by anybody, it is, I think, fair to say that she will resolve her own problem. And I don't think Asa is going to die. At least for this part of Chainsaw Man. Again, like, we don't know how long Chainsaw Man is gonna go, right? At first, we thought each part is going to focus on a different horseman, or at least introduce a different horseman, but now we just got introduced to two horsemen at the same time. We got introduced to war, and then we got introduced to famine. Technically, we are still kind of focusing on war. We were definitely focusing on war in the beginning, but now we are kind of shifting our focus more to war and famine is getting more and more into that antagonistic role. So we still have death. Right, so we still have Death, and Death can definitely be like the main center point if Fujimoto decides to do Chainsaw Man Part 3. But that's the problem. We don't know if Chainsaw Man is gonna have a Part 3 or if Part 2 is going to be like the end of Chainsaw Man and this is gonna be pretty much it. So, don't know. We do not know. What I can say, predictively, again, predicting Chainsaw Man is kind of hard, but predicting Chainsaw Man from a narrative point of view, I don't think Asa is going to die at the end of this part. She's not like Aki, where he is just a human being, therefore he is very prone to death. Nor is she a fiend, where I mean, technically she is a fiend, but her situation is different, right? She's being possessed by a horseman. She's possessed by a horse. No, she is possessed by a horseman, right? Very different circumstance. And we know for a fact, if Asa dies, then Yoru will also die, because Yoru is tied to Asa's body. She cannot let Asa die unless she gets out of the body. And at this point, I don't think Yoru wants to get out of the body. So unless that happens, then yeah, I just do not see a reality in which Asa dies. Again, in this part at least. In the finale of Chainsaw Man, like the final chapter of Chainsaw Man, who knows? Denji and Asa could die both. And that would be fine. We're talking about Fujimoto here. If you have read Fire Punch, then you can kind of get an idea of like how Chainsaw Man could end, but I don't think he is going to recycle the ending of Fire Punch. Fujimoto published some extras for Volume 15 releases. I'll check that out maybe later. But yeah, man, great, solid chapter, I suppose. I wouldn't call it great. Like it's definitely not like on par with some of the greatest Chainsaw Man chapters of all time. But yeah, it's a pretty good chapter, just like all of the previous other chapters. It's been good. I've been really enjoying part 2 a lot, like I said before. I do find more enjoyment in part 2 than when I was first reading part 1. I said this multiple times already. But we are currently just like halfway through part 2. Like I feel like we are like right straight dab in the middle, where a lot of the stuff and a lot of the whatevers are currently happening. So this is the part where most of this is going to be set up for like the finale, you know. So that's still gonna be, you know, a long ways from now. But man, it's been more than a year since Chainsaw Man first released. Part 2, I mean. God damn, I've been streaming Chainsaw Man reactions for over a year. Oh yeah. But that's pretty much it for this reaction of Chainsaw Man. Thank you all so much for tuning in for this live stream. If you're on Twitch, stick around because I'm still going to be streaming there on Twitch for a couple of more hours. But if you are watching this on YouTube, then thank you all so much for tuning in. Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you have anything else you want to discuss more about this chapter of Chainsaw Man or just Chainsaw Man in general, let me know. I would love to read your thoughts and opinions on this really wacky, incredible, and sometimes absurd manga. See you all next time. Alright, take care, have a nice day. Peace.